parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
That's Miss Nell. I didn't appreciate it. Internal. 12.
But don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get on with that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
As of now, I
15
didn't
seconds.
achieve
Guidance
a
is internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
As of now, I
15
didn't
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
a
internal. 12.
don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
As of now, I
15
didn't
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
a
internal. 12.
Don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
As of now, I
15
didn't
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
a
internal. 12.
don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
As of now, I
15
didn't
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
a
internal. 12.
don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
9.
it's a scary idea, but I mean that's the world we live in.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Did you get all of that?
Life has become more complex in the overwhelming sea of information. The advent of computers and the subsequent accumulation of incalculable data has given rise to a new system of memory and thought parallel to your own.
To monitor the situation means to watch history in the making.
5, 10, 15, 20 years away.
As of now, I
15
didn't
seconds.
achieve
Guidance is
a
internal. 12.
don't play games.
11.
Don't play games with this president. So
We're back. It's Monday, July 20th, 2026. I have drip this time, finally.
Yeah, we had somebody else from the office donate drip for a better cause.
No, don't tell them that.
I mean, sorry, this is homegrown farm to table drip.
And you're like, what, Cleopatra maxing?
Yeah.
Like the Odyssey
Well,
maxing?
yeah, I did watch the Odyssey. I thought it was like a bottom quartile Christopher Nolan movie, but
Really?
it's fine.
I thought it was pretty
know,
good.
no, it was like bottom 50% Christopher Nolan movie. But the thing is, like, I realized that it's sometimes just difficult to enjoy movies when you know what's going to happen. Like, this is why I don't like remakes too much. Like all of the live action remakes of like Disney movies and stuff.
I guess.
So I really like some of the monologues in the Odyssey. Like, I thought it was like a well written dialogue. And then it was obviously like visually amazing.
Yes.
But
Although, Nolan, I don't like the gray. It was way too gray.
you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then like
I did not like how they removed Odysseus's pun with the Cyclops. Like in the original, the Cyclops.
I was scared during that scene. I closed my eyes.
That was crazy. Yeah. They did a really good job with the like visuals on that one. But in that scene in the original text, Odysseus tells the Cyclops that his name is Nobody. So that
Yeah.
when the Cyclops' friend Utis in ancient Greek, so when the Cyclops' friends like ask the Cyclops Polyphemus like, who did this to you? Like who stabbed your eye out? He says nobody stabbed my eye
Yeah.
out. And then they so it's like the boy who cried wolf almost. And they just cut that from the movie.
That
They
was such
also-
a banger. That was like the OG banger.
Yeah. Odysseus in the original was like a trickster basically. Like a cunning
Yeah.
trickster.
I
And in
don't-
the
I
movie
don't
they
think
made him
that-
into such a sad boy.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
They turned him into Oppenheimer.
I they did.
Yeah. I am become Odysseus, the destroyer of Troy.
It was too serious. I mean, it was just like so serious.
They also like way over relied on this concept of Zeus's law or Xenia and then or Xenia, I don't know how to pronounce it. And they misrepresented it like from what it was in the original Greek. But it was really good. I thought the casting was such a mixed bag.
I did not particularly like the casting. I would have recast like Odysseus and his son.
Odysseus I would have recast. Anne Hathaway as Penelope was perfect.
That was perfect.
Uh,
Yeah, that was great.
Tom Holland as Telemachus I actually liked. Robert Pattinson as Antinous was great.
I liked that. That was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have some other crazy stories. This one just came out earlier this morning. The Trump
We
administration.
predicted this, did we not?
Yeah. I'm sure you can go back and like clip something on MTS that's like we predicted this basically. But the Trump administration might ban open source Chinese AI models.
Oh no, why is this happening?
We said this
Well,
like if they get spooked by Fable, they might get spooked by models that have or appear to have equivalent cyber capabilities as Fable, but are totally open source,
Yeah.
which is even harder to control. So what does this mean? Oh, wow. The Commerce Department considered last year. I didn't notice that. Last year
it's
considered
probably DeepSeek era.
probably. That was very early last year. Considered adding multiple Chinese AI labs to its entity list, which would effectively cut off U.S. access without a license, a source close to the administration told Axios. Interesting. So how does the entity list work? How
Yeah,
does
let's
the
look into
entity
that.
list work? Would it prevent individual Americans from downloading or using Chinese
It
open source
says-
models?
The BIS entity list contains the names of foreign parties subject to specific license requirements for the export, re-export, or in-country transfer of controlled items, ensuring sensitive technologies do not fall into the hands of those who would threaten U.S. national security or American citizens. Oh no, I'm so threatened by a good model that I can use cheaply
Yeah,
to do
literally.
my things.
So it's unpacking the entity list here.
Yeah, this is tough. So this would it would be subject to specific license requirements, so you can still imagine like a lot of the big labs or like whatever companies they designate would still be able to use open source Chinese models.
Probably.
It would just probably be like the average person, like the people who need it most don't have access to it. So that's great.
The entity list is fundamentally an export control aimed at what flows to a listed party, not a restriction on what Americans can receive or download. Okay. So it would not make it illegal for an individual American to download or run that lab's open source weights. Claude loves to say doing a lot of work. Doing work.
Doing a lot of work here.
I had like an interaction with Claude. I was talking to it about like the Odyssey and like the extent of like the ancient Greeks' knowledge about the world and stuff. And it just completely extraneously added into one of the sentences like, here's where the conceptual frame did the work. Like this sentence did not have anything to do with the other sentences around it. Like it could have been deleted and the thing would have been just as good or better. So I don't get it. Weird.
Okay.
So the entity list is maintained by the BAS in the Commerce Department. It's narrower than the Treasury's SDN list. It does not freeze assets or ban every form of commercial interaction.
Yeah, so last year considered adding multiple Chinese AI labs to its entity list, which would cut off US access without a license. How do you even get a license? It would just be like fully US Gov designated.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know if there's like a process.
New government agency just dropped.
Yeah.
It's like the US Department of no sharing.
Amazing.
Of sharing is not caring.
Yeah. So the NSA and the Office of the National Cyber Director considered putting out an advisory on Chinese AI lab threats last year, practically discouraging companies from using their tech. The White House considered implementing an executive order saying U.S. companies could only host Chinese models if they could guarantee security and take liability if it were breached, the source added. That doesn't seem that hard. Like, if you just run the weights on your own cluster, like, I don't know how that's physically possible to breach.
Okay. The administration wouldn't need to impose an outright ban to get U.S. companies to drop these Chinese platforms. Instead of a ban, another source familiar with the government described a push to highlight potential backdoors and lack of security with Chinese models and the governance issue that brings. What? So just like culture-wise, you're like, no, don't use this. It's
Secure domestic supply chains to target Chinese open source models, I guess, means export controls. But like the weird thing about like the current default Trump admin AI policy is that like they do this stuff and then they don't also do export controls. It seems mildly incoherent. Like I don't know what's going on here. I imagine it will get more coherent over time. But it's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm just gonna see. How would you, like, how has software been export controlled in the past?
I think it basically hasn't, aside from like extremely niche like military software.
How would you do this with an open source Chinese model provider? Are we just gonna create the American firewall?
New firewall just dropped. New great firewall just dropped.
Is it only China that has a firewall? North Korea, maybe. What countries have a firewall?
Here's the information article on the subject, which we'll take a look at in a moment. They have Michael Kratsios and David Sachs behind the many-eyed Trump figure.
Iran uses sophisticated keyword and URL filtering to block thousands of websites, but that's not really a firewall. North Korea, yeah.
So
has
David
the
Sachs.
The Kwangmyong.
The what?
The Kwangmyong.
How do you spell that?
KWANG.
Kwangmyong. Oh, the Great Firewall.
Yeah, that's their firewall. Anyways.
Oh wow, it's even worse than a firewall. It's an intranet.
Yeah. Fully.
Yeah. That's so funny. The first internet cafe in North Korea was opened in Pyongyang in 2002 by a South Korean company named Hoonnet. Interesting.
How is that allowed?
I don't know. I wonder if North Korean and South Korean dialects are still like totally mutually intelligible.
From each other?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same alphabet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hangul. I was listening to K-pop this morning. It's pretty great.
Thanks for sharing.
Okay, Trump's AI agenda. 3 days after entering office, Trump signed an executive order revoking many of the Biden administration's efforts on AI. as part of a light touch approach to AI regulation, which was backed by a lot of the tech people who had backed Trump in his campaign in 2024, including David Sachs. Really incredible what the All In podcast guys have been able to do politically. Yet nearly halfway into his term, though, his ambitious AI agenda has been upended. The advent of powerful frontier models like Mythos has fueled fears among everyone from banking executives to intelligence agencies they could lead to cybersecurity catastrophes. Public sentiment on AI has shifted dramatically. Data center moratoriums are happening, and there's a lot of internal dissent within the White House.
Yes.
Sam Hammond quoted in this article. The attitude of the administration has flipped 180 degrees, said Samuel Hammond, friend of MTS, friend of the show, and director of AI policy at FAI. There's emerging recognition that the executive approach to managing frontier AI leaves a lot to be desired because it's not fully transparent. It's not codified, and some more permanent solution will be needed. Yep, as I just said. The White House disputed the idea that there's been any change in its approach to AI policymaking. The Trump administration's AI policy has been consistent since day one. No, it has not. Come on.
Me when I lie.
Come on. Just be like we've updated our views over time or something.
Yeah, we've always said this.
Come on, bro. Sriram Krishnan will be on MTS today, and we will talk to him about this.
Yes.
The most charitable view of the Trump White House's gyrations on AI is that any admin would have faced the necessity of correcting course. Yeah. Virtually no mainstream political figures anticipated how fast AI would rocket to a top-tier agenda item. I think we could have told them.
Well, yeah.
I could have
He said political figures?
Yeah, mainstream
Yeah.
political figures.
Yeah.
I think the only
Honestly, Bernie.
yeah, Bernie is like the only mainstream political figure who's actually like tapped in on this.
Yeah. I do wonder, like, to what extent has he met with any of the AI CEOs?
Bernie?
Yeah.
Yes.
He met with Dario, or might?
I think Sam Altman and Demis. I don't know if he's met with
Okay,
Dario.
Cool. Yeah, with Sam maybe. Bernie.
Bernie has not met with Dario. Interesting.
They should meet.
They should. Yeah. Sam Altman visited DC in June and met with Bernie. Has Bernie met with Demis Hassabis? Not clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they
who is
met.
this Fife guy? David Fife led the Tech and National Security Directorate at the NSC and then got fired after Laura Loomer. After Laura Loomer criticized his loyalty to the president. Oh my God. I remember the Laura Loomer era.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Actually, Lore Drop met Laura Loomer in like 2018 or something when
What?
she was running for some like local office in like Palm Beach County. But but y'all ain't ready for that conversation.
No, we are.
Yeah, it was.
Did she look like completely different at the time?
No,
That
it was.
That was like 5 faces ago.
That's crazy. It was 2019, and she was running for the House of Representatives, like near where I lived.
Yeah. My favorite Laura Loomer era was like this one
Yeah.
with the red highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Like she
kinda
kind of
ate that. Yeah.
She kind of ate with that.
She kind of ate with that. Okay, so under Fife, the directorate wanted to focus on AI NatSec, such as AI cybersecurity. With the directorate gone, the White House has devoted less attention to those areas than it might have otherwise. Interesting. Still, several people close to the admin noted that 2 members of the council continue to focus on AI issues. Okay, yeah. They are focusing on cybersecurity, though. This is what's strange about this take. Much of its initial work was a reactive effort to undo Biden's policies on AI rather than develop new ideas. For example, removing the word safety from the AI Safety Institute was an absolute priority for Sachs and other people in the Trump admin, according to a former Trump official.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's right. The KC was originally called the U.S. AI Safety Institute, or AC, which is what the UK one is called, UKAC.
Yeah, but like the Joe Biden safetyism was probably very, very different. We went over this, I think, one time, and they were actually like too concerned that like they had like the opposite concerns that we do now, where they're like, oh, it would be unreliable, and that's why it would be a threat to like the government, just because we would like over rely on it and it would be inadequate, and that is not what we have now.
Oh, that's right. The agency continued to be a source of drama within the admin. Colin Burns, one of the world's leading AI testing researchers, who was at Anthropic for a long time. He was also, by the way, he was a world record speed cuber as a kid. And if you go on his Wikipedia, half of it is about speed cubing. But anyway, he was tapped to lead Casey and then immediately fired, or like not allowed to take office, basically, because of Anthropic drama. So they just, this was like, yeah, it was a few months ago, it was in April. They appointed Dr. Chris Fall to lead Casey. But Chris Fall was also, he also just left Casey. He just resigned like this morning, which is interesting.
Do we know who is going to be leading next? Do we know anything about this?
There it is. Scoop. Trump AI security agency head resigns. So Chris Fall is resigning just 3 months after taking over Casey.
Wow.
Confirmed the Commerce Department. NIST director Dr. Arvind Raman will continue to oversee Casey and serve as acting Casey director.
So who is Arvind Raman?
Arvind Raman. He is the 5th Undersecretary of Commerce for Standard and Technology and director of NIST. And let's see, what did he do?
No, he was like a
He was the Dean of
mechanical
Engineering at
engineer.
Purdue. Researches atomic force microscopy, human biomechanics, and electronics manufacturing. Wow.
This is so based.
That is very, very wide range of things.
He often collaborated with NIST researchers in nanotechnology.
Holy based.
To what extent does NIST research nanotechnology?
What do they do at Purdue, bro? They're inventing nanotechnology there? Okay, so bachelor's in Mechie from IIT Delhi, master's in Mechie from Purdue, PhD in Mechie from UC Berkeley. So interesting progression. So he will be the acting director of Casey. The Commerce Department expects to announce a new director in the coming weeks. Okay, a Commerce official said Fall's appointment was always intended to be temporary.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so let's see what else is in this article. Another key White House official, Michael Kratsios, the head of OSTP, wanted other changes at Casey. He argued that the agency ought to be moved out of commerce into the energy department. Believed doing so would make it easier to leverage resources like the DOE's national laboratories, which could better handle classified work. That makes sense, I guess. Mythos' arrival created an explosion of different cooks in the kitchen within the Trump administration, one former official said. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's probably true.
People began pushing for wildly different policy approaches to the model. Some Trump officials supported hands-off regulation. Others argued for taking more extreme measures to restrict access to Mythos and models of similar capacity, such as export controls and activation of the Defense Production Act. There was also debate about which government organization should eval AI models. Some argued that Casey should do it. Some argued that the NSA should do it, which would have meant less visibility into the process, of course.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. Susie Wiles and Scott Bessent became enmeshed in AI policy amid the launch of Mythos. Okay.
Anthropic said at the time researchers from Casey had tested both our prior and new safeguards and agree they are extraordinarily strong.
They were annoyingly strong. This is true.
Then why freak out? Oh, I just found this case evaluation of DeepSeek V4 Pro.
So Sean Cairncross, who was the head of the Office of the National Cyber Director, began to push for ideas that tech people said were impractical, like hosting model weights in data centers with very high standards of security. David Sachs got Trump not to sign this executive order, but he ended up signing a very mildly weakened version of it anyway. Personnel turnover isn't unusual ahead of midterms. The number of tech policymakers who have either left or eyeing the exits is unusually high. They also forgot about Dean Ball, who was also in the Trump administration under Michael Kratsios at OSTP and left, interestingly, and ended up writing for Hyperdimensional and now is the head of strategic futures at OpenAI. Skimming through the rest of this article. Let's see what else we have. Okay. The Trump admin had previously debated different approaches to open source AI, ranging from banning such models on government devices to more broadly restricting them through export controls. Sriram Krishnan, one of the main deputies for David Sachs, the ASR, was instrumental in killing the proposals in the middle of last year. In June, he left the Trump admin to work on building his own policy institution. Interesting. Hammond argued that the Trump admin's more interventionist stance on AI may not be a bad thing. There's the old adage in that in AI policy you're either too early or too late, he said. In some ways, I think it's a positive development that the admin is more awake on near-term AI risks and starting to take real action, even if they make mistakes in the short run. So yeah, this is quite a good article about how the Trump administration has changed its AI policy over time to go from like pure laissez-faire to not quite.
Yeah. I don't even know like who supports pure laissez-faire in the government anymore. Like no one.
I think few people. I think it is becoming increasingly impractical.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a look at some of Dean W. Ball's recent posts.
Yes.
People are flaming the shit out of him. So let's see, is it worth it? Oh, he reposted he reposted my tweet. Did you see this? Dean W. Ball apology form?
Yeah.
That was so good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
He follows you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, banger. Okay, wait, so walk us through this drama.
So here's his original post. Actually, this is not his first post. He posted something about Kimmy when it came out. Yeah, this is the big one. 10 million views. Wow. Some observations on Kimmy. 1, it's a very good model, but it's also token hungry. 2, I'm personally surprised the Chinese state continues to allow the open sourcing of models this good, given potential risks. To be clear, I myself might be fine with models presenting this level of marginal risk, but I'm surprised that China's fine with it. I suspect the reason they are is they are not AGI pilled enough. But the other 25% is lack of compute for customer inference. Three. This is the really hot take that people got mad at. Open weight models
are inherently decelerationist.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Open weight models are inherently decelerationist. And I'm continually surprised to see the so-called accelerationists so excited about them. They know open weight models are effectively ungovernable, and they simply like the overall cloak of ungovernability open weight models create over the whole of AI. But they deter further AI capex. I'm like not incredibly convinced of this. Like, yes, it is true that they deter capex, but there's so much capex already committed.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I disagree here.
4, one probable outcome of an open weight model dominant world is full AI communism, which is precisely what China proposes. Rather than a market product, AI is a public good, which will ultimately be provided by the state as kind of digital public infrastructure.
Well, is the internet communist then?
No, because the internet is not exactly provided by the state as digital infrastructure.
I guess not, but yeah, I guess it's like a mix of a lot of different things and providers in the private sector.
Many accelerationists do not view the creation
But it still
and
needs the
serving...
internet to be hosted. I don't know.
This is really funny. Many accelerationists do not view the creation and serving of frontier models as a legitimate business. This is kind of true. They really, like, a lot of people really think that basically labs are obligated to open source all of their technology or they're evil. This is a much higher standard than in any other industry. I would guess that the Trump admin will at some point realize that their best strategy here would be to create large amounts of regulatory risk around the use of open weight Chinese models. You don't need to ban open source. You just need to direct every agency to issue soft law that creates FUD. A Federal Reserve advisory bulletin found that there may be backdoors in Chinese AI models. It needn't be that well justified. You just create enough regulatory risk that every regulated enterprise backs off. You probably don't want to create so much regulatory risk that you scare off the hyperscalers from serving Chinese models. This will just drive startups to sketchier providers. There's a happy middle ground here. I assume they will do some version of this. This is true. I think the wording of best strategy would be like this. This is kind of clumsy, I guess. I think he probably should have said, I would guess that the Trump administration will at some point realize that like the optimal strategy for if they want to deter open source or something. And then 6, it's probably true that open weight models of this capability make the world a bit more dangerous, but not so much more that you'll really notice. At some point, the models will be capable enough that you will notice. That's also true. Anyway, he got flamed to hell in the comments. Picture an executive of a taco company saying this sort of thing about a new brand of tacos coming onto the market, speculating about the geopolitical and societal disruptions they anticipate as a result of advances in tacos. Okay, but come on. Like, AI is not tacos. AGI is not tacos. Dean is right here. I mean, what do you want me to say? I've been making this broad case for years. I joined OpenAI less than 2 weeks ago.
This feels like a weighty claim to make.
What is?
It's open source or open weight models are inherently decelerationist. That feels like a weighty claim to make.
That's true.
More robust justification.
Yeah, I don't know if I would agree.
I don't agree with this at all.
Inherently decelerationist.
It would be decelerationist to not have any open source models at all.
I don't know. Like, in terms of accelerating diffusion, this is true. In terms of accelerating progress in capabilities, I think open weight models might not actually be that helpful for that. Like, if you just wanted to capabilities max and, you know, get your intelligence explosion as fast as possible, then you would centralize things into an oligopoly, I think. I think, like...
I don't think that... No, I don't think that... Well, oligopoly, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
you need
monopoly,
lots and lots of...
I think monopoly is deceleration.
Not a monopoly, this is true.
But... Okay, wait, what is his response here?
I think open weight is basically as diffusion accelerationist as closed, maybe slightly more on the margin. Yeah, that's what I said. But considerably development decelerationist due to raising AI hyperscale cost of capital. By the way, I don't ascribe moral or ethical valence to these terms. I'm being descriptive. That's true. Don't get this point. Open weight pushes value from few large labs down to a broader ecosystem of inference providers and neocloud operators. That's exactly what he said. It's diffusion accelerationist. It's not development accelerationist. Yeah. Like, inference providers and neocloud operators are not developing the next generation of frontier models. They are diffusing the technology, which is great, but it's not the claim that Dean is making. He says, sorry, but did you just argue monopolies are accelerationist or what? I saw a meme that was like, you know, the like, oh, you're sweet versus hello, human resources.
Yeah.
It was that, but it was like Peter Thiel saying monopolies subsidize innovation. Oh, you're sweet. Dean Ball saying monopolies subsidize
Hello,
acceleration.
human resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that, I think.
Open weight models obviously deter AI capex, man. This is really basic economics. And then this guy says, I understand the principle, but we don't seem to be in an environment where capex is the limiting factor. This I could agree with, I think. Like we have so much capex right now. So much. I don't know how much open weight models will really deter that. This is really crazy stuff to believe. I noticed a lot of the people flaming him for having, you know, presumed ideological loyalties because of his business work on like AI startups that benefit from open source models. So they benefit from their own arguments too, just saying. Briefly, I think none of this is true. Open source is inherently decelerationist. AI is a public good, it's a hellscape. That's not what he said. What? He said full AI market communism. AI is a quote public good in scare quotes is a hellscape. Three, that the Trump admin will and should do these regulatory scare tactics. Dean said, I said will, not should. And by the way, he was right. He was right. They did do new regulatory scare tactics, or at least they're proposing it.
That was insane. Like,
oh.
Maybe they read this thread in the admin. Yes, the harms of radically decentralized superintelligence control probably outweigh the good. And I say this as somebody who supports decentralization for the most part. There are extremes to avoid even of things you like.
Most people
So
not
does
employed...
wait. So does he view like the Chinese AI ecosystem as currently being like this public good?
No. I think when he says public good, he means something that the government declares is a public good that either cannot be provided by private companies or can only be provided by private companies with some sort of like licensing process.
This seems completely unrealistic to me.
That it would happen with AI?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because this doesn't even happen with like water.
Well, it kind of does happen with maybe not water, but like water treatment, for example. Sewage. It happens with electricity a lot of the time. And electricity, I think, is just a generally good metaphor for AI. Like, I could absolutely imagine a future in which the government decides, like, we're moving away from, you know, we need to ban AI to AI is a public good.
No, but like, here's the thing.
Not
even Wi-Fi is a public good.
Why would Wi-Fi be a public good?
It's like the most essential part of like internet infrastructure.
Actually, I think it kind of is a public good a little bit. Like, the Biden administration spent all this money on like rural broadband access.
That doesn't mean it's a public good. That means you're just like sort of patching the inequities within the within the US. Like that's very different.
And like in a lot of cities, you can get like free or reduced cost like cell phones, for example, with, you know, internet access.
Is any like there's no software? What? Okay. Is any software a public good? Like government websites? I don't know.
Probably.
like the IRS website. But what I'm saying is like this is just so completely unrealistic.
I don't think it's unrealistic at all. Especially because AI is not like the other technologies. Like the government may do things that are totally unprecedented in AI. Alexander Green says, we don't have superintelligence, though. You are extrapolating quite far. Most people not employed at a few companies don't think LLMs are superintelligence or will lead us there near term. Yeah, so like if I didn't think LLMs would lead to superintelligence, I would probably support like absolutely maximal open source, or maybe not support maximal open source, but support like zero regulation on the open sourcing of the technology.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Let's see. Okay, Amjad Masad. China proposes, rather than a market product A as a public good, they already have an AI industry that is super competitive, operating with very low margins. Then it seems more like China's socialist playbook than state takeover. This is also a good point. China does not really treat AI as a public good. They have a very competitive AI industry. Maybe you could make the point that like the low margins are kind of a public good.
I disagree. It certainly does not follow that open weight models lead to communism. That's an outrageous leap. I agree with this as well.
Anyway, people were hating on him. And then he says, I agree. Yeah, he responds to Tim Sweeney. I agree that if a taco executive talked about geopolitical implications of tacos and the need to regulate tacos because of those implications, it'd be silly. Tacos are a kind of food. I suppose one thing I'll need to add to my AI Policy 101 course is AI is not a kind of food. Yep. AI is not tacos. I'm not convinced that every human I have met on this website has object permanence, and that may well explain why they're so angry in my replies. Yeah, and DMs. Okay.
Okay, so he's really going with this taco thing.
Yeah. Ray proposed community notes. Oh. Basically, he says, you can't write anymore because if you're a lab employee, people hate on you and assume that, of course you said that because OpenAI. Yeah. This is true.
Yeah, this is true. I wonder if Rune has experienced this.
Yes, but less so because he doesn't have OpenAI in bio and he's not a face account.
Yeah, fair.
But like the Keep 4.0 people, for example, like hate him.
Oh, yeah. This makes sense.
Dean Ball, Andrew Curran on Dean Ball. If open source is sufficiently capable and ubiquitous, it will eventually destroy the big labs' business models. This means they would no longer have funding. To quote Ilya from his testimony in OpenAI in Musk versus OpenAI, if there is no funding, there is no big computer.
So true. And without big computer, there can't be big model.
And then what would happen next in this scenario is that the USG would nationalize the labs and make it like a Department of War project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the middle path might be the correct one here. Agrok. Agrok, is Ball right that tacos are food and AI isn't food? Yes, tacos are food. AI is not food. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder if like this is kind of what is happening with robotics as well, where like because a lot of like Unitree is just like they open source so much of their software and hardware, we just like kind of can't compete in the US. Like you can't have like a real like frontier robotics lab here that is able to like deploy.
Yep. Anyway, we have another story. The Jacobian conjecture, which is a math conjecture, just got falsified for the first time. This is like a really, really old math conjecture. It's been around for like, what? Close to 90 years now. The Wikipedia article is already objected. I see. The Jacobian conjecture is a conjecture. I just checked this article like an hour ago, and it said a disproved conjecture concerning polynomials and several variables. It states that if a polynomial function from an n-dimensional space to itself has a Jacobian determinant, which is a non-zero constant, then the function has a polynomial inverse. I don't think we're really going to get into what this means here. That would be a good clip. Imagine that. Imagine we like we explain the Jacobian conjecture from first principles, from like a super fundamental.
Well, you actually probably could do this with Claude diagrams.
Maybe. But this might not be an easy thing to diagram. Some math stuff is not really shaped.
Or we can play around with like the 3 blue 1 brown library.
Yeah. The Jacobian determinant. Let n is greater than 1 be a fixed integer. Okay. Formulation of the conjecture. That's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. So the Jacobian conjecture is proved for polynomials of degree 2. But then here's the counterexample. On July 19, 2026, Anthropic employee and mathematician Levent Alpoga announced a concrete counterexample to the conjecture in 3D space, stating that it was discovered using the LLM Claude Fable 5.
Wow.
As reported by New Scientist, the single line of mathematics posted by Alpoga was simple to verify, and many mathematicians had already done so by today, July 20th. So the counterexample is just this polynomial map. The Jacobian determinant of this function is the constant -2, but the map is not globally injective as it maps multiple distinct points to the same image. But any invertible polynomial map must be injective, so the existence of this map demonstrates that the conjecture fails for 3 or more dimensions. Basically, in math, there's a lot of these conjectures where you imagine like this specific thing is true for every instance of another thing, right? So in this case, the Jacobian conjecture is the function has a polynomial inverse for any polynomial function from an n-dimensional space with a Jacobian determinant that is a non-zero constant. But you can easily disprove these if you find a counterexample. If you find an example of a polynomial function from an n-dimensional space to itself with a Jacobian determinant with a non-zero constant that does not have a polynomial inverse, then you have disproved the Jacobian conjecture, and it is not general. So a lot of this is going to happen in math in the near future. You're just going to have a lot of people like throwing their LLM agents at all of these math problems in order to disprove them, basically. It is a lot easier for an LLM to find a counterexample than to actually like prove the conjecture. So that's really cool. LLM math progress is so interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's state of the timeline. We'll be right back.
We will be right back.